Just because parents change doesn't mean your childhood disappear. Two siblings can grow up in the same house and walk away with completely different memories. The same house does not mean the same childhood. And we have to stop assuming that because children share the same roof, they share the same memories. Two siblings can grow up in the same home, love the same parent, eat at the same table, and still carry completely different wounds. Because sometimes it's not about the house, it's about the season the parent is in. Parents change, people involve, people fall, people recover, people find faith, people heal. The version of parents in one season may not be the same version in another. One child may have experienced chaos, another may have experienced security. One may remember fear, and another may remember faith. Same parent, different season. When a parent grows, heals, or transforms later in life, the younger children sometimes receive the restored version. The older children may have lived through the storm before the healing. And that doesn't make one child dramatic. It doesn't make the other ungrateful. It makes them witnesses to different chapters of their parents' life. Redemption for a parent does not automatically equal healing for a child. A parent can give their life to God. They can stop drinking, doing drugs, whatever their struggles are. They can change their behavior. They can become stable. They can become spiritual. And they can become better. And that is beautiful. But the child who lived through the early chapters may still have to process what happened before the change. Healing is personal, and it doesn't transfer automatically. Just because the house became peaceful later does not mean the child who endured chaos early forgets it. Just because the parent became loving later does not mean the child who felt unsafe earlier stopped feeling it in their body. Two siblings can look at the same mother or father and see two completely different people. Not because one is lying, not because one is bitter, but because they met different versions. And here's where the family struggles. One, when one sibling says that's not how I remember it. The other says that's exactly how I lived it. Both can be telling the truth. Memory is shaped by position. Experience is shaped by timing. Impact is shaped by role. The older child may have carried responsibility. The middle child may have carried invisibility. The youngest may have carried protection. Different roles, different expectations, different emotional climates. And loving your parents does not cancel your pain. You can honor their growth and still acknowledge your wounds. You can celebrate who they became without denying what you endured before they became it. Those truths can coexist. What we must stop doing is comparing trauma like it's a competition. Pain is not a contest. Just because one sibling experience was lighter does not mean the others was exaggerated. And just because one sibling was experience was heavier does not mean the others was fake. Same house, different nervous system, different seasons, different story. Healing begins when we allow space for all of them. Not to blame, not to attack, and not to divide, but to understand. Because when we silence one sibling experience in order to protect the image of a parent, we create another wound. And healing cannot happen where truth is not allowed. If you grew up in a house that changed over time, you are not wrong for the early memories. If your sibling remembers safety where you remember survival, that doesn't discredit either of you. It simply means you walk through different chapters in life. Same house, different childhood. And every story deserves space to be acknowledged. Did you and your sibling grow up under the same roof but walked away with completely different memories of it? Both stories can be true.